What is up, Nyla Harris? We got a Tar Heel on the podcast today. Thank you so much for making the time.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear your story, your journey to UNC, and your love for the Lord. But I do start every podcast asking my guests what they're all about at the moment because I think it can be interesting and fun to know maybe something new about someone or a new food that you like, a life hack, something that you just constantly are doing at the moment. So, what is Nyla all about right now?
I think Nyla's all about bettering herself, honestly. I think I've entered an era. I'm in like my early 20s, but I'm at an age where I'm starting to like kind of feel different. I'm starting to see things differently. And it's just very interesting to me, like going into the new year, just really focusing on myself and like bettering myself so that I can love others the right way. And obviously, all about Jesus. Honestly, I can't help but to include him in this answer. But I think honestly, it's just about self worth and getting closer to God.
Well, that's an amazing thing to be all about. And it is good to do those reflections at the new year because I think it is a good excuse, right, to do it, even though you can do it any morning, anytime you
Yes.
want to do. And
Literally.
I made one of those bingo cards, like 2026 bingo cards. And I
Yeah.
really just saw it on TikTok and I was like, I kind of just want to color. It was the reason I did it. But I did a little self help thing. I put 10 chin ups because when I was a college athlete, I was able to crank those out and have
Right.
no problem with it because we were getting tested on chin ups. And
Yes.
so I'm like, girl, I got to get back to that because I am not that strong at the moment. Body weight, not adding anything else on top of that. But
No, that's like so real.
hey, so we'll both check in on each other and see how we're doing on the self care part of all that. But you have such a
Yep.
pretty name, Nyla, and I
Thank
did see
you.
something that you maybe had talked to Tori Dilfer Stringer at Louisville about your name and the story behind it. Would you mind just describing the story behind your name?
Yeah, so actually my mom and my dad were watching Lion King one night as a couple, of course, newlyweds, and um my dad was like my mom was like, "What about we name her Nala, like the baby?" And my dad was like, "Nah, like that's just too like I don't know, like that's already a name." And then he was like, "How about since we got married in New York and we got engaged in Los Angeles, we named her Nyla." So, yeah, like actually,
Oh, I get it.
get it?
NYLA.
Yes. So,
Cool.
um, the older, like, what's crazy is the older, like, I've gotten, I've met a lot more Nylas, but like, I just never forget, like, mine has true meaning behind it. It kind of tells the story of how my parents had me and met each other, and yeah, so.
Shoot, the bar is high. Okay, now I know these things. It's kind of like once you know, what are you going to do about it? Okay, now that I know that cool of a
Mhm.
story for my future family, I gotta come up with something cool. But no, I love it. It's a beautiful name, number one, and number two,
Yeah.
just the connection with your parents. I love it. But another little acronym, almost UNC, University of National
National
Champions, is
champion.
where you are at. But you
Yeah.
also did a lot of winning earlier in your career in high school. I believe you won 3 state championships. Is that correct?
I literally did. I literally did. Like, and I think like when you're that young, you think that's something that's just like is supposed to happen. You know, it's high school, but I think we as a team competed at a very high level. We were ranked nationally. We were top, I think top five, and being able to play at a high level like that kind of made my college transition a little bit easier as well. And um, just yeah, it was crazy. Like just reflecting on that I actually won 3 back-to-back state championships is just crazy, and I had a big part in that. So it's amazing that I have 3 rings.
Is there one of those rings and one of those championships that sticks out to you?
I would definitely say my senior year, because uh we really just like we were on it. Like man, it was senior night for I think Stephanie Ingram, me, and another teammate, and we were just like, this is it. Like this is literally it. We've done it twice in a row. I think that first time it feels really good, like wow, we can do that. But doing it 3 times in a row is like something that kind of doesn't really happen, you know? And that third time I was like, wow, like what a way to close out my senior season. And be able to, after, not only after that, that wasn't just it. Like we got to be able to go compete nationally as well. And it's just great to have that feeling, being able to play the same players you play in college, and see how much we've grown. So no, yeah, I was the third year, I would say senior year was the one that stood out the most to me.
That is incredible. And I love what you said about getting to play some of those same girls later in college because, man, you've been scouting them for a long time. You know their moves. You're saying that
Literally.
all. I know exactly what she's going to do at this play. I've been there, and it makes it so much more fun. But, those 3 straight rings in those championships, they don't come just because you're really talented and God gave you gifts. Like, you put in a lot of hard work to be able to carry that out,
Yeah.
in your life. And so I'd love to know, when you think back to the sacrifices that you had to make throughout
Yeah.
high school, just think about that time in your life
Yeah.
and the hours that maybe no one saw on social media and no one saw on those championship pictures. What sticks out to you when you think back to how and what helped you find success?
Yeah, I'll definitely say like I just came from a great family background. Like I kind of like was raised in a household where if I stick with something, I'm gonna like give it my all. I'm gonna push to the fullest. I'm gonna do as best as I can. And when I finally made that decision to play basketball for the rest of my career, in high school, I just really stuck with it and I got better at it. And I was training a lot, and there's a lot of hours that I put in that no one saw. And just having a coach that held me to a standard that kind of helped me again as well, just reflect on myself a lot and continue to want to get better. I think that was like the one thing that, kind of made my mindset different at a very early age. It's just like wanting to get better, like not ever settling for the bare minimum, and just having that hard work mentality. And I think that takes you very far in life. Just not settling, not getting comfortable. The minute you feel comfortable, you feel like you're taking a step back. And yeah, just being around that for so long, and my parents supporting me, pushing me, telling me things I don't want to hear, telling me things I do want to hear, and also having my dad as an ex NFL player, just having that in my life, I could see like what it's like to play at the highest level there is and how hard it is. And him just, even though it's not the same sport, it takes the same aspects, it takes the same commitments. And so him just being a huge role model in my life for me to be able to stay on the right track really meant a lot as well, while also being a dad.
You said so many awesome things there that I want to ask you about, but I guess I'll start with your dad first because my dad also played football, and I believe
Oh
your
my
dad
God.
he played for was it the Vikings and the Giants? Am I missing
Yeah.
a team?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Jenkins and Jenkins.
And
Yes.
when you think back to, because I know having a football dad, there are a lot of phrases and sayings and just
Yeah.
mentalities, right, that are
Yeah.
brought into the household that has truly impacted me as an athlete, as I'm hearing it has for you. Is there something that sticks out to you from something that he has said to you over and over throughout your years?
Ooh, what is he? I would definitely say like I think when I first got into the sport and he saw me like transforming into a great player, he just always told me like stay hungry, like don't settle. And I was fortunate to have Grant Hill as a coach as well. He like sponsored our team, so he was around me as well, and he would talk to my dad a lot. And they both just said the same thing, like just stay hungry, don't like just don't settle, like don't. And when I mean settle, I mean like don't be okay with being like mediocre. Like, I think like when you get to the next level and the next level and the next level, it takes just the tiniest bit of detail because, everyone's good. It's really like who is working hard, who's really going hard in that next play. So just staying hungry, staying humble. Like staying humble is something that was really enforced in our household. Like never, flash what you have, never boast about what you have, like just really stay humble. Just know God is blessing you, but at the same time use your talents, use your strengths to really exemplify him. And I think like having that at such an early age really helped me to stay on that path. It was second nature for me. It just wasn't, it's just something you can't teach. I feel like, it's really just off of values and the way you're raised. And my parents did a great job with that. So
Well,
Yeah.
that leads me to what you had said earlier, and you really backed it up by just hearing a little bit more about your family. But I love the attitude of, even if I'm in high school, I can still get better. And like you said, in college, that margin gets so much smaller, right? It's inches, and it's minute skills, and it's minute moments in end of game situations, and the athlete that has the edge is going to be able to come out on top, right?
Right.
And so I love that attitude of like, you can always get better, because I think there's a misconception for young athletes of, oh, once I commit, or once I make my varsity team, or once I'm a senior,
Yeah.
I got it all figured out. I don't need to practice as
Yeah.
hard. I don't need to go to my club workouts. I don't need to X, Y, and Z. And so I love that attitude that you have about it, and just your hunger for it. But I want to go to your time at UNC, but you did start your career at Louisville.
Yes,
And
I
I'd
did.
love to know, like, who helped you along, just get recruited, number one, when you think
Yeah.
back to that decision-making process?
Yeah, I was a late bloomer, so I started basketball in 6th grade. And that's not really, I mean, I've heard even later bloomers, but 6th grade enough is just like, wow, like you have a lot of growing in a minimal amount of time. You really don't have that much time. And so, I it started all the way back in middle school, but I think in high school, I kind of really started to bloom. I started to get looks at colleges. I started to get nationally ranked and all this stuff, and I really didn't think anything of it. Like I didn't think this was gonna be my life. Like I really thought, like, I just would have just played basketball and went to college.
What were your sports before basketball, before sixth
Dance.
grade?
I was a dancer.
Dance.
Yeah.
Okay, see, like, for
Yeah.
anyone who is in middle school and they are doing dance or equestrian, or they're playing basketball, you might be doing the opposite of
Yeah.
what you're doing right now.
No, literally. Cause like I literally wanted to be a professional ballerina. Like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to
Incredible.
ballet in New York. But yeah, God had other plans. But my AAU coach and my high school coach in high school kind of helped me like manage like college offers and all those things. And I was fortunate, my first offer to be South Carolina at 8th grade, which is crazy. And I think for me, that really showed like the potential I have as a player if I really want it. And then after that, they just all came. But as I got older, as things started to evolve, like my junior year, I started to want to kind of make a decision, and Louisville was the one that was ringing the most. They had a great team at that time, like just elite, and I liked their flow of the game. They're very athletic players, defensively oriented, and I think for me, defense wins games, rebounding wins games, and that's something that I do really well of. And then I was just talking to the coach, and my AU coach was telling me, he's like, this is a great big time program. Like you should really look into this. They have great staff. And I was just like, oh, like it just sounds so good. And I told my parents, I was like, if they were to tell me, because I did get a call from another school that said, hey, fortunately, we're going to have to stop recruiting you. And that kind of hurt, because it was like, okay, like this is actually like a business. It's not like, in a bad way, but it's in a way where it's like, you got to make your
It
mind up
hurts when
and
you
have other
first
people.
realize it, right? Like,
Yes.
once you're like, okay, like I saw that coming, because
Yeah.
it's college athletics and it is what it is. But when you don't know, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't know until you have to really, you feel that,
Yeah.
it's hard, because it does feel like only a relationship, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. And so I think like once I felt that, I was like, okay, now like where do you want to go? What conference do you want to play in? And that's when my top 5 was all ACC schools. Academics come first in my family. So like they really care about academics.
Hey, I'm a BC grad. Shout it out. I'm a BC grad.
Hey,
A little ACC in
girl,
there.
yeah, ACC is what's up for real. I think like it doesn't matter with athletics for the ACC. Like academically, top tier. But when I made that decision, I was like, okay, where exactly do I want to play? And the school I'm at now was actually in my top 5, but that's another story. And I was just like, okay, well, this is it. And I told my parents, I was like, if Louisville calls me and says, we're unfortunately not going to be able to recruit you, I will break down in tears. I will be heartbroken. I just will have that feeling of regret. And at the time, it was COVID. So, like, we couldn't take visits. So, everyone was just committing right and left. And so, I was like, okay, I got to make a quick decision. So, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I told them. And then I committed on the spot, and it was great. And history goes from there. It was just an overall blissful experience. I met so many people. I made so many connections. I made so many relationships that are definitely going to be dearest to my heart, and that shaped me who I am today. And thankful for the coaches that were in my life at Louisville, because they really, really, really enforced that mentality of like, don't ever settle, don't be comfortable. To now, where I'm at another school, I only have a year to make a relationship, right? So I kind of have to have my own mental notes for myself of habitual things that I did at Louisville that helped me to be the player I was, to be able to transfer and get to a better school, you know? And so that's kind of where those habits that I formed with the relationships with those coaches helped me to where I am today, to now where I do get in those modes where I'm like, this is just so hard. Well, what would Coach Say tell me if it was getting hard and I told him it was going to get hard? He would tell me to push through. So just having those mental notes that even though that life is behind me, I still carry things with me into where I am now. But I'm sorry if I just rambled way too much.
No, I love that. I absolutely love what you said, because I think that's one of my, like, personally, one of my harder challenges is saying, hey, you already have experienced this. Like, how can you use what you've already gone through to help you in what's next for you? And I do want to talk about UNC, but before we leave Louisville, is there a favorite memory that sticks out to you when you think back to your time there, on or off the court?
Oh, I have two, one on, one off. One on was getting to the Elite Eight my freshman year, and just playing with that team. It really shaped me to who I am today, the type of player I am, because I just was surrounded by vets that didn't tolerate a low level mentality, and that really, I had the right people in my circle to, coach me up, like really like help me to be the player that I really wanted to be. And forming those relationships my freshman year and going that far was one to remember. Just, I can remember it like it's yesterday, guarding Caitlin Clark in the Elite Eight. Like, it was just crazy for me just to be to start and guard Caitlin Clark, even though I didn't stop her, okay? Like, she's elite. But, like, I got to experience that. I literally got to guard her. And so, yeah, that. And then off the court, I would definitely say my junior year, I made a great just connection with my roommate. She was from Turkey, and I'd never been around an international player before. Like, obviously, because I live here and they live over there. And being able to build that type of connection made me be okay with playing overseas, like seeing what it's like to play overseas and build connections like that. And she's a forever friend now. And she really just like helped me a lot mentally. And we built a forever connection. And that's like, for me, off the court, it's about connections and knowing it's not always about the sport. Like, the sport is going to have its highs and lows, the people that you're with. And yeah, having Alif in my life really helped, and I love her so much. But yeah.
That is so special. And I think it sometimes really does take certain people in your life to show you and teach you, hey, they might not have to be, exactly like me or do all the same things that I do or like the same things that I do. We might be very different, but look at the special bond that we can have and the relationship that we can have. And I think it helps you when you go into new environments to be more open and really willing to have relationships with other people. But you are now at UNC, and obviously, and regardless of whether or not, it's an incredible experience or not a good experience, when you go into different life situations, it's hard, right? You're in a new environment. And so what helped you, this year for your senior year, really plug in as a Tar Heel?
Yeah, it was a really quick decision. When I hopped in the portal, I had like literally 2 weeks to make a decision. And that was like the most, I don't know. Like, I think I just like thought people were joking when they said like getting in the portal and making a decision was like the hardest thing of your life. Like, you need assistance with that. I just thought, I'm strong. I can do this. But yeah, 9 to 10 p.m. like it was on. Like, and so I think for me, what made my transition smooth, what made my selection smooth, was really like the head coach connection. Just talking to Courtney and really like building that relationship. I could really feel it in her feel it in her voice. I could feel her presence. I could feel her want for me to be on her team, and how she just cared for me more than just a player. I think for me, I've always looked at her and my head coaches as making sure they care for me more than just a basketball player, because I'm going to have highs and lows. Okay, I'm going to have bad games, I'm going to have good games, but I want them to love me regardless. I want them to cherish me regardless. I want them to want me to be better, like better than I want to see for myself. And she just checked off all those boxes. And then obviously the team was great, and they're losing, unfortunately, 2 strong players to their team, and it was just a wide open spot for me. And I loved playing in the ACC. I think like I could have played in any other conference, but the ACC for me, I care about my academics, and obviously just playing in that league. I've played in it for a long time, and I honestly think it's very hard to play Louisville. And so I wanted that challenge. I wanted that challenge to play against my old team. I could have went to another conference and never seen my other team again, but I wanted that challenge of being able to play another team that I've already been on for so long. That's a whole different type of mindset of locking in, and I wanted that challenge for myself. And yeah, so that it just overall was just an journalism job. I really love everything about journalism. UNC is a huge journalism school, so that made it even easier for me because they had the journalism side and they had the athletics, and it was just like
And the best colors and the best school colors. So you're winning. You're winning on all fronts.
Literally winning in all fronts. So no, yeah, it was just an easy transition, an easy it really was an easy transition. Like I know for some people it's very hard, but I think it all reverts back to my mindset, and I stand on that. Like I just don't ever let myself settle. Like it may get hard, but you won't know it's hard because like I strive for something greater than myself. I strive for the unrealistic. That's really like how my mentality is. Like I may strive for something if I say to you and you may be like, that's like something, you know, that takes a long time to get. But it's like, no, like that's how I think. So like doing that, just the enough for me to make an impact on this team is not that hard for me. And so I've had that mentality ever since I stepped in here. They've welcomed me with, you know, being a leader, being vocal, and having that, you know, comfort makes it easier that you know you're respected, you're wanted on your team. It makes you realize, okay, like they really, really, really want me. They value my opinion. They value what I bring to the table, and I don't have to question that. Now, yes, I may fall into certain mindsets where I'm like, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, but I know from my faith that that's just the enemy. So when those moments do, and those voices do pop into my head, I just literally yell out. Even if I look like a crazy psychotic person, I'll say, enemy, you need to shut up. Okay.
I like that. I like the enemy, you need to shut up.
No, literally. So yeah, no, yeah, that's really like my journey to UNC, and it's been great. You know, I've had, you know, it was a little hard for me in the beginning, but that's just from my coach caring about my body and realizing she needs me for the whole entire season, and just kind of getting used to that. Getting out of that mode where I need to be in everything. I need to be this. I need to be that. I need to just really saving my body. So I had to deal with that a little bit in the beginning of the season, and now that conference play is here, she's let me off the leash, and it actually makes sense why she did it. So yeah.
That's exciting. And yeah, there is always a plan that your head coaches know way before you do. They're doing drills to help you learn a play for in 5 months down the line that you don't even know about. And so I think, and that's really too like the same way that the Lord works, right? Like he's doing things and working things in your life that you don't even know why he's preparing you and putting you through certain experiences. And thank you for just sharing your transfer portal experience, because it's got to be hard, like you said, and I never went through it, but just after hearing you talk and other athletes, like those are big decisions to make. And even if it's a seamless transition in, like that whole kind of literal portal situation, it's a lot. And so I do want to ask you a little bit more about your faith, because you can just tell that is something that you have really laid your foundation on. And I did see a photo of you getting baptized during your time at Louisville. And I know you've been outspoken about your faith while at UNC, but when did you really start pursuing the Lord?
Yeah, so I was raised in a household where we went to church. And my parents, my dad grew us up Seventh-day Adventist, but I kind of went to a Christian school, and always saw my classmates going to church on Sundays. And I think for me, it was just the intriguing part of why are they going to church on Sundays and why am I going to church on Saturdays? And really just understanding, you know, kind of like it was still Christian, but it's a different type of Christian per se. Just growing up in that household and realizing that, when I get out of the house, like it's my choice of how I want to live my life, who like I want to believe in, how I want to surround my faith in my life. And I told myself when I got to college, like I want to go to church on Sundays. I want to experience that side of Christianity. And I think once I got in that, I realized it was more than just a religion. It's more of a relationship. And realizing that it's like, why are people in love with Jesus so much if it's a religion? You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a religion, it's more commands, it's more laws, it's more, like it may feel more draining if it's a religion. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I really realized the more I got closer with Christ, it's more of a relationship. And that's why people love him so much and they want to express and spread the gospel. It's not because, it's by command. Of course, God wants us to spread the gospel, but it's the Holy Spirit that like urges us to do it. And so when I was surrounded by a lot of people at Louisville who just love Jesus, I was fortunate enough to be a part of the FCA program, like in it, with Tammy and Chris Morgan. And that alone, like, opened my eyes a little bit more to really who Jesus is, who God is, who the Holy Trinity is. And once I got invested in that, I just like was so intrigued by it. I was like tell me more. Like, it just changed my mood, like going to Bible studies with Tammy and going to FCA and going to church and doing worship. I just felt different and I wanted to experience that. And so in the midst of doing all those things, I was a lukewarm. I will say that. Like I was still in the world. I was still not really understanding what it's really like to give your life to Christ. And so I was able to get baptized November 13th by Tammy. And I think after that, I still had my experiences, but God was looking down like she doesn't know like what I'm blessing her with, what is, I'm saving her from like in the months to come. And, I still was living that life. And then I transferred. And when I came here, I was surrounded by, believers who obeyed, who really loved the Lord so much that they wanted to live right. And it wasn't from a way of like, oh, like I can't, like I have to do it like this. Like it's urgent. Like you have to, it was more like, no, like I love him. Like I'm going to treat my body as a temple and I'm going to treat it the right ways, and really understanding that and being surrounded by community of people and teammates actually who lived the right way and just loved. I just never had experienced that type of love where people were just smiling and sweet, and it just really came from the Lord. And after I really fully committed to Christ and I was like, you know what, God, I'm giving everything to you, my anxieties, my worries, I'm tired of turning to other things except for you to fill me. But you're the only one that fills me. And when I finally realized that, like, my eyes just saw things that I've never seen before. My heart craved things that it's never craved before. Like I just have a whole different type of patience now. I just experience peace on a different level. I'm experiencing things. I'm in a life that I think Nyla 2 years ago probably would have been afraid of. And like now that I'm in it, I'm learning a lot about myself. And I think that's kind of a fear in your 20s. You kind of like don't want to experience yourself. Like you kind of want to like experience.
You want to be everybody else.
Yes. And so I think for me, it was finally realizing that God chose me to be here. He chose me to be who I am for a reason. Like stop looking at other people wishing you were them and thinking they have their whole life made, because they don't. Nobody has their life made. No matter who says they're perfect and they think they have it all figured out, they don't. And when I finally started to see people not have their lives figured out, it made me realize, wow, like I really just need to be like okay with myself and love myself. And I think I was trying to have other things fill the void of love when it really just comes from God. And once I finally figured that out and really said, okay, God, I get it. I really get it. I just was so I was is like just so on fire for Christ. And ever since then, I just really I just experienced a whole different type of peace that I just want to spread. And it's not out of you know, a way of like, I want, like, you need to figure it out. It's more from a place of love. And like, I want you to experience the peace that I'm experiencing because you'll feel so much happier than you are right now. You know?
I love it. That's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all of that and just your story. And it's so cool to just think about the timeline of your life and to see the impact that other people too have had on you. And
Yeah.
the people in my life who are so evidently filled with the Holy Spirit, they
Yeah.
shine. Like really like their light shines and it's not just I'm not just saying that. Like it
Yeah.
truly is a light.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to just hear that you've been able to see that out of other people so evidently in the different schools that you've been in and the impact that has had on you because I think as believers when I am around people like that or I talk to people with their light just the Lord's light oozing out of them, it makes me want to go be that for someone else. And I think that's what you're talking about of that desire rather than, oh, I feel like I have to do this because I'm a Christian. You're like, no, I want to tell you about my faith. I want to tell you what the Lord has done in my life. But it was so good. I kind of want you to have this like Nala Lion King moment, Nyla Lion King moment of you like being raised up because everything you said was just so good. And I'd love
Thanks.
to know like, you talked about how your faith has really changed who you are now. What does that look like now at UNC in college, your senior year? There's still a lot going on. You have just the busyness of being a college basketball player. Like
Yeah.
that's most of your day. How do you find
Literally.
time to stay grounded in your faith and
Yeah.
refocus yourself when there's social media, there's basketball practice, there's outside noises, there's all
Mhm.
the things.
Yeah. No, so like I think I really came to the realization that like this right here is the enemy. Like it
Yeah.
literally is. And like doom scrolling is a real thing. Like I have to catch myself sometimes just being on social media for too long. That's why I have these moments in my head, these voices in my head at times where I'm like, you're not good enough. You're comparing yourself. You're this, you're that. And it's like it's not even that I feel those things about myself. It's just simply being on an app like that kind of like feeds those types of energy and thoughts into your mind without you even asking for them. And so I took my first ever social media break ever for a whole month and I just experienced a whole different type of peace. Um I just felt different. Like it just felt like there was nothing going on. I didn't feel tense. I didn't feel like thousands of things were running in my head. I had time to just sit in the Lord. And whenever I wanted my phone or social media, it just wasn't at my fingertips. I literally had the Lord and that was it. And having that refocus on him really helped me grow even stronger in my faith and really stronger in just accepting where I am and where he has me at. Because I think in social media, everything's compared and it's just the truth. Everything's compared. Who is this? Who's better than this? Who's the best this? Who's the best that? Who's the whatever? And it's like, you can never just take a time to realize people are people. And like even in the athletic world, it's even worse. We deal with a whole different like I love my dad. I love everyone that's played in the old times, but they just didn't have it how we do. Okay. So like just like the media just constantly talking about who scored this much points. It's not even about just playing the sport. It's more about who's breaking records, who's doing these things. It's more of a competition than it is just enjoying the game itself. And so when I do get in moments like that, I just really just step away and not feed that. Instead, I just feed the Lord. I pray. I have a prayerful life. I really firmly believe you have a prayerful life. Things will just start to, you'll just start to not want those things. The more you're intimate with the Lord, the more you talk to him, the more you actually just become vulnerable with him and you tell him like, Lord, I'm literally struggling and I don't know what's going on and I'm tired of faking like I am. Like, instead of like, Lord, I just thank you for this day. Lord, I just like, like not having a like decorated prayer, like actually like being honest with your life and with yourself. Because after you pray, you should feel a whole bunch of weight just go off your shoulders, because that's what God does. And so I just realized that prayer for life is so important. Being in my word is so important. I think I was like turning to podcasts and YouTube videos a lot more than reading my word. And I kind of tried to get that to fill the void of understanding better. But it's good for me to like actually read the word and kind of walk myself and apply it to my life, so then I actually understand it and I can apply it in a way that, it's applicable. It's not forced. It's just naturally what I've been fed into my soul. And so I think that was just so important for me. And just really surrounding myself with a community who loves Jesus, who's on fire for him. So that's just all I'm around, and not being ashamed of him. I think like the more you are ashamed of him, the more you hide him, the more you're feeling like you're not the person you want to be. And I think since I've not been ashamed about him, I've just felt more like myself. I've felt like I can just be myself around whoever. And it's just really helped me to just be grounded. Like, he's literally stable. Like, I don't place my life on basketball, even though it's very easy. Like, no one talks about how easy it is to like dip back into that and like kind of like ride that
Because
wave.
you're in it. You're probably going to go watch film when we get off this podcast. Like, you're
Literally,
in it all
girl. Oh
day.
no, I'm not. I'm about to go with my teammates. I'm not playing. Like, but no, yeah. So like, just not riding that wave. Like when I've hit some lows this season. I've hit some highs, but like really just staying stable. And that's the difference between Nyla. The last 3 years she was at Louisville, like she was in the pit. Okay, she was sitting in that pit. She wasn't rising above it and staying stable with God. She was sitting in it, coping with other things, and like just accepting, okay, this is gonna be my life. But now Nyla's like not letting that be the end. Like just realizing that I've shifted my mindset to realize basketball is not the end goal. Like I can't take these national championship trophies with me to heaven. I can't. So just really living in the now and being acceptable to where God has me, and understanding that he has me here for a reason. And I may not be a draft pick. I just may not. I don't know. Like when people ask me like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And they're like, how do you not know? I'm just like, I don't know. Like really being honest about where you are in life really helps you even more. And so yeah, I mean, I could ramble about him all day, girl, as you can see, but
No, it's so good.
Encouragement thing, because I know people watch this and people listen, and it's just really important for people to not be stable on their careers, but really have something to be stable on that is forever going to be fulfillment, and that's obviously Jesus Christ. So
Everything you said was so good. And I love that you touched on the power that social media can have over your life if you give it that power.
yeah.
And even what you just said about the national championships, like you should be striving to win national championships because that's what you're working towards as a college basketball player at UNC, right? But if you have the wrong motives because you just want the hardware and you want to post the Instagram pic and you want to be able to say I'm a natty champ, then that's not what the Lord put in you, right? The Lord gave you the gifts to like go play your heart out and like have that experience athletically, not so that you can, like you said, take the trophies to heaven, because that's not happening, right? Like there's enough gold there that there's not going to need any more.
There's literally plenty.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So I love what you said, because I think it's such a struggle. And even what you said about, listening to a podcast, like the podcast is not the word of God. The podcast is not praying. The podcast is not like full on scripture unless they're reading scripture, right? And so I think those are so important to listen to and even be encouraged by other people. But like what you're saying and that fulfillment is only going to come with the relationship that you talked about with Jesus. And so I love everything you said, and it's so cool just to hear the power that and in the confidence that you have, right? And so would you mind just sharing, like, you said a lot of eyes are on you. People are probably tweeting about every single game, every practice, every open media that you have, the possible draft selections coming up, your future, all the things. And there's a lot going on. How do you handle the spotlight and still have that confidence, right? While not being shy in it?
Yeah. No, I think I like embrace it now. Like I don't shy away from it. Like I think sometimes like when I shy away from it, it's not God telling me like run away from it. It's usually the enemy and like really like standing firm in
Shut
it.
up,
Have
enemy. Was that it? Shut up, enemy, or
shut
enemy?
up,
Shut up.
enemy.
Shut
Shut
up,
up.
enemy.
Shut up. Like shut up, for real. Like no, literally, like that's what I'd be saying. And like just not being afraid of it, like not being afraid of the moment. Like I prayed for moments like this. Like I literally have prayed for moments like this. I vividly remember, Lord, I just need a chance, Lord. I just want a chance to really just shine your light to show that you could be at the bottom and all it takes is one moment and God blesses you. And like now that he's put me in those moments, I'm not shying away from it. I'm embracing it. I'm being the same player I was as if I wasn't in the light, like just being the same, and not letting the lights change you. Like there's nothing different about it. It's all mental. It's all mental. Like what you tell yourself, who you let into your head, who you let at your table, who you let feed into your mind before a game, like those things all matter. And I don't let any of that, really distract me. I really firmly believe that God has placed me here for a reason. And how I handle all that is I ignore it. I literally ignore it. I fully understand now that this society and athletic society, of course, is just built on just chatting and talking about the next hottest thing. And it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to lose myself because you think someone is better than me. That's your opinion. And I firmly believe in my opinion and God's opinion. And I just don't let those things affect me. I just don't. And when I feel myself feeding into that, I just ask the Lord to just remove it out of my heart, out of my mind, and replace it with positivity, because positivity is the end goal. Like, it really is. And I just firmly believe that enjoying moments really helps as well. Like when you're scared or you're afraid of the moment, having joy and just looking around at where you are makes the moment even better to embrace. So yeah, I just tune it all out. I've been in that moment where I've basically heard everything but where I was at, and kind of question myself and my self-worth. And I told myself, when I make that step, I'm not going to go back into that. I'm in a new space and I'm at a new opportunity. And I believe God brought me here for a reason. He blessed me with this for a reason. He blessed me with so many things here for a reason, because he firmly believes that I have the strength and the faith to endure it. He gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers, and I just believe that I've gone through the toughest battles of my life, like especially in this career. I've been counted out so many times. I mean, from high school to now, like I'm probably the last to be picked for anything, like, and I've just embraced it. Like that's not going to shape who I am. I'm going to still stay the same, because it all revolves back to, you just don't know who is watching. You don't know who is watching, who is and God is obviously always watching. But I've just got out of that realm of like feeling like I have to please everybody. I've lost that. Like, I can't please everybody. Like, if I please everybody, I'll lose myself, and all I focus on is pleasing God. I really do.
That is so important to know when you're on the biggest stages. And I think you're holding both things, right? You're holding that this is an answered prayer that I prayed for, to be here in this moment, to be on this team, to have this platform, to have the opportunity to compete the level I'm competing. And what the heck, this is brutally hard, and why are people mean, and like the stakes are very high, and all those things. So like you carry both of those things, and when your eyes are fixed on the Lord, you can't lose, right? You're gonna be walking through fires regardless of where you're at in your life.
Yep.
And if your eyes are fixed on him, like you're saying, you're not gonna lose. But you did mention that you're headed to go get food with your teammates, and so I do want to ask you a few quick questions about your teammates and about this UNC basketball team before we wrap up today. So what is your team like on a game day? Is it quiet? Is it loud? What's the team like? I know you said you were a ballerina. Are you doing any twirls for the team? Like, what's game day like?
No, I'm not any twirls, girl. I'm too old. No, I'm sorry. But no, it's just very rowdy. It's very lively. We're just really present with each other. Like, we don't like I feel like I came from my previous school was just very all about just locking in, and I think like here it's just more of a like camaraderie. It's more of a like family. Like we just all get ready together. We talk while we get ready. Like it's not like, like it's more, it's a business, of course, it's a business trip, it's a business whatever, but like we don't let it get to that point where we kind of lose like our values as a team and like loving on one another and being vulnerable with one another. And it's just banging. It's banging. Like music is rocking, like it's just everything for real. It's a great time.
So fun. And I love asking specifically basketball players this question
Yeah.
because you run like 1,500 drills in one practice, right?
Literally.
What's the drill that at UNC basketball, when your coaches call it out, everybody starts freaking out? They're so excited that you're going to be doing it.
Like sarcastically or like for real?
In a good way, because there's probably a lot of sarcastic ones.
Yeah. I would say like us playing each other, like when we like OD, offense, defense, offense, like when we do that and we're playing against each other, it's fun because like we know each other's plays, we know each other's strengths, so it's like making each other better to take that away. I think it's fun. Like I kind of get sad and a little mad when like it's over with and practice is done, but I think that's like the most fun part is like playing live. I love playing the game and like getting better through live play, so I think like doing that and doing it with your teammates who you play against like all the time and you play with, it makes your bonds even tighter.
Getting after it with the teammates is fun until someone hits the deck, and then it's like, oh, it
Literally.
got a little quiet.
Oh, that was a foul. I'm like, calm down,
Right.
girl.
Calling fouls in practice is one of the most vicious things, I
No,
think,
literally.
in women's athletics. But last question from me. Do you wear headphones or no headphones pre-game?
Headphones, girl. I'm super locked. Like when warm up comes, we get to shoot a little bit. Noise cancellation. I don't want to hear anything. All I want to hear is my music and my heartbeat. Literally.
Oh, I like it. The heartbeat. Add that one in too. I love probably controlling it too in
Yeah.
some way. But man, Nyla, this was such a fun conversation. I'm so
No,
excited
yes. Thank
to
you.
learn more about your UNC basketball team, more about your story as well. And I feel empowered, like the confidence truly that you have. And
Thank
obviously,
you.
like you're not going to feel like you're the best in every single moment, but like
Yeah.
you have explained how you fight those battles and how you overcome those moments and get out of the pit. And I love what you said. So thank you for like encouraging me tonight. I'm so excited to share this conversation with our Sports Spectrum audience, and we're cheering the Tar Heels on.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Annabelle. Like seriously, this is amazing. So yeah.